since we got everything secondhand, we had a little investigation that we had to do to see what we had, and under further review, we found out we had a one-wheel peel box. That's been banned here, so what are we doing today? We're taking out the old differential and installing an LSD so that we can spin both wheels.
Is this a Honda Civic Si LSD?
This is an aftermarket M Factory LSD. It'll be a little bit better. It's what some of the forum people said to go to. It was that or a different aftermarket, but everything's brand new. We're not going used.
We got new bearings, some very cool stickers.
Dibs.
There it is. This tiny little guy is going to allow us to get power to both of our wheels instead of just one.
You broke mine last week, Matt.
Second complete accident. Very nice machine parts.
All right, now we're gonna start cracking this case open so we can get all the way down to where the diff is and have some fun installing it.
Do not lose this card. No metal shavings on this magnetic drain plug, so definitely a good thing to find out when you're taking your transmission apart.
Tack that all on the floor, tack that, give me some more, tack that, till you get sore. Oh. We do not have a size 14 Allen key like driver bit, so the old double nut trick is not working real well for us, so we're just gonna tack those two nuts together real fast and get it out that way. Easy enough.
Going on.
All right, I'd say that'll hold, but we'll do one more for
Aesthetics.
yeah. Yeah, I'd say she's welded.
Yeah, it's not a great weld, but just try and tack it.
It'll serve this purpose. All right.
Taking these detents out right now. If you're doing this yourself, be sure that you do not lose the little ball bearing that's behind each of these. If you want to look down here, we've already got two of them. There's a tiny ball bearing behind. Be very careful.
Well, this turd is tight.
Yeah, we've rounded it completely pretty much. So now we
can get a 15 on this one, but it'll still work.
That's that gray Loctite.
Jeez.
Nope.
And broke the welds.
That's the beautiful thing about buying a half-stock shop is you might just randomly find the tool that you didn't think you had.
All right.
There we go.
Saved us a trip.
I still want to go to the junkyard.
We can still go to the junkyard. Let's find a home for that lovely 14, that the exact tool we needed. You see this retaining spring clip here?
Mm-hmm.
It's locked in that groove for that right there, which is a bearing attached to the main shaft.
Okay.
So we need to spread this spring and you should hear the entire shaft drop.
So you got a snap ring and a bearing right there. We're going to try to release that snap ring.
Put that here. Hey, who put that here? Can I remove a bolt?
Oh, yeah.
I know Jacob hasn't let me remove a single one yet.
That's between you two.
I'll let you get one.
10s?
They're 12s.
They're actually 10s, he's just telling you 12, so you...
So it takes me longer to get the right tool. Let's see, where's a good spot?
Not too many.
No, there's like no lips.
It's quite sealed.
We are attempting to free the transmission case from the bell housing. We are not sure if we're missing a bolt or if it's just very gasketed on there.
Yeah, I didn't think it was...
So, doesn't look like we're missing any bolts. We just checked the last one, so we're gonna do a little bit of manual labor with the miniature negotiator and the full-size negotiator.
Let's just should have back together today. Yeah, it's moving. It's grooving. Anything break? No, I think we're good. goes.
All right, we've got the case off of this tranny. About to throw this LSD in there.
Wasn't terribly hard. Our first time opening up one of these, and it went pretty straightforward. Was a little bit of a fight to kind of get this 30-year-old seal broken, but that is to be expected.
Little dead blow hammer action. And the negotiator finally talked him into it. All right, what's the next step?
The next step is to remove third gear, and
All right.
it's over here.
We'll get that sucker out and keep going.
So we need to remove this, I don't even know what to call it, shifter linkage for third, and then third will just come right out. Want something kind of heavy and sturdy. Any ideas?
All right, we are getting ready to take these gear sets out of here. Want to remember how it all goes back together, so this footage ought to help. Don't have my 10mm ratcheting wrench with me today. That would be very handy though, for a job such as this. My fingers are all oily. I can pull it out. Yep, I have it out. So just like that.
I'm relying on the memory to put this thing back together. Should kind of slide up right there and then pull, you wiggle the shaft kind of thing.
Reverse gears out.
Put it in a safe and accessible location.
Just rip this sucker out now.
Yank her out.
Yeah, right, dude. I'm gonna wait for Matt to tell me how to do it wrong. Looks like we've had a little heat on this sucker.
All of it. You want to wrap your hands around as much of it as you can. And then you should be able to kind of slightly wiggle it up and out. Yeah, it's coming.
Sharp jerking motion.
Alright, you got it?
I believe so.
Alright, come and put it down over here.
First, let me do a dance.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Rotate towards you.
Oh, that's that's not good. Okay, this is gonna be interesting.
Alright, so it's a synchro. It'll only fit in one spot. Just rotate it until it slides in. Yep. Now, it's not the end of the world if they separate. We can get them back together, but obviously, probably want to keep them together for ease of installation. But
When you were flipping that gear set over on top of my hands, look how hard you were pushing those gears into my fingers.
I didn't feel like I was pushing hard at all.
I was like, ah, please stop.
Yesterday 0 strength, today 110.
Yeah, dude.
Like a hard push at all.
Yeah, well, it's because it was my flesh, not
I got
yours.
gloves, that's why.
That was through my.
So this is the old diff here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it out, remove this ring gear here, flip it over and remove the speedo gear and install it on this one.
Seems easy enough.
Like that. There's a tiny, let's call it stop of the bevel, and then it's back to normal shaft. So that's how far we want to press our new bearings on. Just a hair underneath this black edge here. Like right there. Main input shaft has 2 washers on it. We need to make sure that those remain on there when we install it back in. Since we're pointing it down to stab, they could obviously just fall right off. And if they do fall off, there's one flat one up top and one wavy on the bottom. And just the wavy needs to make sure it's on the bottom.
Wavy, baby. Got the big daddy. Big hugga dugga out. A 1/2-inch choocher.
It chooches.
Yeah, she gets after it.
I guess this needs to go this way. Yeah. And so that Did you take it from the bottom or the top? Oh, yeah, so then we can slide it just like that onto this one. We don't have to do it now. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. Our press is pretty big, but the next steps are going to be to press on the bearings. We can leave it off, it's just going to give us a little more room to work. So, next steps, flip this over real quick. Flip it back over real quick.
And back over one more time, and then back over. Okay. All right, to the press. To the press.
To the press.
I was Googling this VIN.
You get the number?
2006 Acura RSX.
Oh, the transmission?
Mm-hmm.
NTNs are actually fantastic bearings. I've bought a lot of those in my life. Almost #1 in bearings. Those are probably Apex 5 or 7, so they should glide nicely.
I used to run Apex 7 bearings in my Razor scooter, so I can confirm that's a good bearing type.
Those are made out of Japan, though.
They're made out of Japan.
Out of Japan. The entire state.
Japan's a state now?
I bought Japan. I changed the rules. I'd make sure that all the pressure's on the inner race should be, like, feel relatively non-resistant.
If it's lined up properly. Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Oh, it's already going in.
Yeah, it should just slide right in pretty easy.
Yeah, it looks crooked though. All right, you guys comfortable with me sending this?
Send it. It's the worst thing it's straighten. It's the worst thing that happened.
Yeah, it straightened right out.
Yeah, I installed the bearings in my transmission with a hammer.
All right, we'll just be going a couple millimeters at a time here.
There you go. I don't know if there's any hair there, but
Yeah,
There is a hair, but I almost feel like we should leave the hair.
It's a big enough hair to see on the camera.
give it one more little pop and you should hardly think it's really there.
The hair is gone.
It looked like it was going smooth.
Yeah, there is something in there, but don't want that, trainee.
Should go.
Before it gets to the
Just broke this wood.
Jesus, that scared the hell out of me.
Those are nice wood.
Genius, genius, genius.
Yeah, it's tough. They don't like precision machines. Well, K24 has already spent 10,000 RPM.
Yeah. So we got a little piece of grease in this bearing that wasn't very friendly, but we're getting. I'd say she's free spinning now. You know what these need to be torqued down to?
I do not, but I can make up a fake number for you.
I'm gonna guess about 14 ugga-duggas.
Jacob feeling left out on putting in the bolts. These two have been battling over who gets to do what bolt. You think that's how they did this at Honda? Already improving manufacturing processes. Look at us go.
This is the assembly line.
Yeah.
That got a little scary.
Yeah. We only have a repair manual for the MR2, so I don't know any torque specs on the Honda stuff.
Well, it's torqued enough. I know that.
All right, put it in the case. Apparently this is relatively difficult, being that there's not a lot of clearance here for your fingers. And, well, but we might want to clean the edge here first. That might be in the way. Might be a little more easier to clean the edge before we install that. You can drop the diff in now.
Joy to the world.
too bad.
Nope. Oh yeah.
Yep. I just heard that you can't really get your fingers anywhere, so it's kind of a...
Yeah, bearings are nice.
That's it, LSD installed, go home. So now we need to cluster pack in there.
All right.
So I would just take a look here, we'll see. You've got the 3 levers. 1, 2, 3. You got one of the big fat outputs, and the longest one should go in this bearing. Got it?
Yep.
Right, I'm free. You're in control.
All right. That's a scary thought.
That's it. See grow on. However, this is locked. I mean, nothing's like it's spinning, just not perfect.
Yeah.
It's wedged.
I don't.
We can do it the first time. Well, shoot. We can do it the first time without gasket if we want to.
Gear mechanism back together.
Alright, that's all I really need to see.
I just am not. Here, you come do this and feel what I'm feeling, because it doesn't feel like it's right no matter what. It feels like you're just setting this bearing in here and it's now broken. Well, think we can put that bearing back together?
The King parts are easy, I think so. I'm guessing, since it looks like that has a backside, the backside will face the case.
I think we try it, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
I was thinking this needs to be in the case. Just because of how easily it slid onto the shaft.
yeah.
If it's harder to get the bearing into the case, which you were doing it, so I don't know which one is harder.
I was really just hoping I would just slowly put it all over.
Perfect. Try it 30 more times, one of them.
Shake it more than twice, you're playing with it. Orders. My pinky. Will you hold your fingers?
You put yours back in there now.
Well, just to where you can
yeah.
feel if it's going.
Yes, it's going. It's going.
Stack your dimes. So by the time we get back to lunch, we can tighten the bolts.
You still had to make me look like an idiot.
Talk to the editor on that one.
I am right now.
I think he was mad at you after not getting his $100,000 ride.
Don't leave anything for me to make the decision on how it looks after editing.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a little more.
Yeah,
This is not going to be a good RPD seal, guys.
So we've got a bunch of different parts here. We bought a swap kit, kind of all complete, motor, trans, clutch, all that stuff together. we don't have exactly everything that we need, so we're gonna do a quick trip to the junkyard and go try to pick up a few remaining pieces.
My playground.
Matt was born in the junkyard.
Raised by it, molded by the grease and the dirt.
By the time he saw a shop, he was already a man.
I had my forklift license before I could even get my car license.
But yeah, we
I do a lot of crime.
What are you getting, Matt?
I'm gonna go with the smothered fajita burrito.
Dang. We have been busting our balls at the shop today. It is not going quite as planned, so we're having a late lunch, but the boys are hungry and ready for some tacos. All right, so we're up at Buddy's. We're gonna find a few CRVs and see if we can't get the throttle body off of them and see if it works on our drive-by-wire setup.
This is my favorite place. Candy shop.
It's a little cold, not too bad, but dude, I know. Might just abandon the MR2 and just go in on this sucker right here.
I'll just swap that bad boy.
Adam LZ, where you at, dude?
If we put 50 grand in this,
50 grand.
It'd almost be running and driving.
I know this place like the back of my hand. This used to be basically our playground back in the day.
She's seen better days, dude. Oh, an old Datsun.
that would be cool if it was a Daytona.
You think this thing's destroyed?
I like the seat covers.
Yeah. Seat covers aren't bad.
It looks like they were kind of cool before whatever happened to them.
Something definitely happened. All right, complete opposite side of the place.
Love these junkyard finds.
I'm doing that to my next build. That's sick.
Even if it doesn't need it.
Oh.
So is this the right throttle body we're looking for?
I think it's the right one. Can you rotate it over? As long as this was a K24, it's just we haven't had enough.
This is a 98.
Oh, it might not be a K24 then.
This does have a drive-by cable throttle body on it. We just don't know what motor this is. If it's a K20, it's something we could use. We'll come back to this if we don't find the right one. All right, I'm inside of this 07 CRV right now. Trying to pull this pedal out because it's drive-by-wire, which is what we need for the car in the long run. We're here for drive-by cable throttle body. Might as well pick this up while we're here. Figured we might want the pigtail.
Yeah, what you do?
Show them what I just pulled out, Matt.
Pretty much the rarest thing in this junkyard. Digital gas pedal.
Bluetooth.
If we don't find a freaking cable throttle body, I'm not gonna have fun figuring this thing out.
What is this thing, Alex?
This thing is Frenco's brand new car hauler. We have bought it from Buddy's for $155. It needs a little bit of here and there, but I think we're gonna get it up and running. What do you think, Matt? Next week?
I think next week, but all we gotta do is change the mobile and shop number on there and we could go.
Buckle up.
Even came with seat belts. This thing just needs a little bit of TLC. Look at the size of that wasp nest.
Yeah, we can throw some carb cleaner in there, it'll fire it up.
Hurt my hand. All right, we RTV'd it with the case 90% of the way on just because it's been so hard to get this case on. We didn't want to throw a bead of RTV and then just keep putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, taking it off. So got the RTV on there and we're gonna send this sucker the rest of the way home. So
There goes.
all I needed to do was hold on to that thing.
If you're a mechanic, you know when you're putting a transmission back together, you always want to drop it.
At least once.
It looks like it's in. Right, dude. Let's just roll it on its side so let's see if we can get the shifter in. Immediately it might.
All right, so this motor from Japan looks like it got damaged in the shipping process here. We want to save this alternator because if we have to replace this with an American one, we have to change a lot of other stuff too. So we're going to take this cover off and see if this can be repaired.
Yeah, for the return oil. I think they're...
I don't think much negotiating needs to be done with that.
Just pure strength.
We may be missing a pin.
And then if it is salvageable, I can take like a soldering iron and attempt to plastic weld it back.
Yeah.
Or we could go to a Japanese O'Reilly's.
None, kind of.
All right, so we've successfully remated the transmission case. We've got a little heavy-handed RTV seal there. That's my fault. Got the shifter put back. She spins, she shifts. What do you think?
I think this is pretty exciting.
What is?
When this thing moved along, we went from a one-wheel peel, now we got a two-wheel ripper. One step closer to getting this thing fired up.
Yeah, for sure. We already got the flywheel on. We're gonna start bolting up the clutch and pressure plate. Moving and grooving.
And I think I've never had anything this high horsepower. I think the CTSV was my highest horsepower car. It was stock.
What does it even make?
550.
And what's good is it's oversized so big, it should recover decent.
It
So
does.
like it wouldn't hurt to turn it down lower.
Yeah.
Just
Cut that.
Delete that.
I'm gonna pay you $100,000 to sell that footage.
ARP my butt.
Next steps are for Jacob to break the rest of these, taking them off.
here, use the half.
All right, Jake, what are we working on?
Right now I'm taking the pressure plate back off because this bolt is snapped off in the flywheel.
Uh-oh. ARP hardware, torque to the proper specs, we think. All right, so 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That is the theme of today, but we are still making progress, folks. That's a net 1 step forward if you're paying attention to the step count.
I can watch Jake work all day.
Thanks, Matt.
That was an encouraging stepper in there. Also to keep in mind, if you use that liquefied friction modifier, your 35 actually like turns into like 45.
All right. The broken bolt fiasco really only set us back like 10 minutes because we had a whole nother set of the pressure plate bolts, so it was no big deal.
But you had the wrench set at 96.
I don't know.
Clutch and pressure plate are on. We are working on greasing this input shaft and putting the throwout bearing on.
Right, we are greasing this up right now so that we can slide the throwout bearing on it. And we also put a very small amount of grease on the splines here. You don't want to put too much to where it's going to throw off at high RPMs, get all over your clutch and pressure plate. You don't want it slipping because of some grease that you put on the transmission.
All right, as well as you want to throw a little grease where the pivot arm
Pivots,
acts as over, yeah, pivots.
and in the cup that it pivots within.
This thing will shit smooth.
You also want to put a little bit of grease where this is going to contact the throwout bearing, and then on the inside of the throwout bearing itself. Alright, so we're going to slide this throwout bearing in at the same time. We're putting this arm in so that they can go together and the ends of the arm can slide through the tabs on the throwout bearing.
Dang, that was smooth. And that's it. It's in.
Alrighty, so now that the throwout bearing is installed, next step is to pull out this clutch alignment tool. hopefully it goes in a little easier than it came out. Time to mate this transmission to the engine.
Yeah.
And moving right along, we have the engine and transmission mounted up. Now we just need to mount this slave cylinder up. We will be able to do that. Jacob can get lucky in the bucket of bolts.
I think we might have just gotten lucky here. I found these two.
Heck yeah.
Let's go try it out.
Go ahead and try it without. Hell yeah, brother. See if it's too deep though.
I think it's still not deep enough, to be honest. Specifically chose these bolts just in case we ever don't have sockets. You can take it off with a screwdriver.
That is definitely something we're gonna need. All right, so we've just kind of got this temporarily installed. We'll probably have to pull it back off to fill it properly with fluid, but we're moving and grooving, as I like to say.
All right, just like the car itself, this motor's been sitting for a long time and it's had a lot of hands just like these touching all over it. It's got quite a bit of grease on it, so we're gonna take some time to really clean this thing off, make it look nice before we throw it in the car that looks good as well.
All right, so this real engine isn't too bad down here on the block, but we're hitting it with some simple green.
Making sure she's all clean.
All right, guys, just a little before and after. Much cleaner. Still got a lot to go, but we're getting through it.
All right, after about an hour or so of scrubbing this thing, looks pretty good.
Yeah, man. I'm pretty pleased with it. Obviously, a hot tank would have been better, but we get it in where we can, and we're not going to take this whole engine apart, so we cleaned it like it is, and then once this sucker's in there, it's going to be spotless. We're getting this valve cover powder coated, probably the intake manifold powder coated, and some other things as well, so all the display pieces on this engine are going to be perfect. This is super exciting. We have the engine and the transmission mounted up to each other for the first time, with the clutch in there, with the LSD in there. I mean, it's pretty much ready to go into the car, right, Jake?
Yeah, pretty soon here we can go ahead and put these back on the motor mounts that you saw last time, and we can start figuring out all of these accessories and where all the lines go, everything we need to do to get this thing running.
Yes, sir. We have a haul tech in the mail, and we've got some other really exciting stuff that's going to come along to make this swap super simple. We should have this thing in here and making some ponies. I don't know. No time flat. Yeah. All right, guys. So it has been a long one at the shop today. We got a lot of important things done, but we should have got them done a little faster. We got the clutch installed. We got the pressure plate installed. We got the LSD installed in the transmission. We got the transmission mounted to the K24. And we cleaned it up, got the slave cylinder installed and everything else. So, we will be diligently working tomorrow to get this thing running. So stay tuned, and boom, we'll be back in the shop cranking away at this thing. But we are cleaning up the shop for tonight, and we'll see y'all in the morning.